Good morning, everyone. Um, Felt a little prompted this morning to do a video on triggers, um, which, if you watched some of the previous videos about pausing and taking a break, those are, I think, helpful in these moments where we're seeing triggers. There's probably, at least what I can personally identify as, two kinds of triggers. There's one that are from other people who they're triggered and they're trying to pull you into their whatever they've got going on. Whether it's a friend being triggered over something that you've said, whether it's a child that didn't like a school assignment and is having a problem with it, whether it's your spouse, in the moment handling a shopping trip and trying, to grasp what's going on in the situation. And all of these are different things and ways that can pull us out of our alignment and our center. And, we have to choose if we're going to allow that or not. And it's interesting now to kind of, when I'm having those moments of pause, I go, oh, this isn't even mine. This is somebody else's. And do I want to allow them to disrupt my peace and calm? Is it worth it to me? And usually the answer is no. And sometimes these things can layer up and build up and then you kind of erupt or whatever. But I'm finding the more that I practice that pause, and I mean, there's times that, I will take several breaths or I'll excuse myself and go to the bathroom, say, I'll come right back to this, whatever, and then come back into that moment. And I'm a little bit more focused on how I want to respond, if I need to respond, and things like that. And then there's other moments where we have a trigger where it's our own personal trigger. And, whether that's caused by something or someone else that said something, but then it's our own trauma and issues that are coming up that we need to say, how am I going to deal with this? This is mine. I need to deal with this. Do I want to bury it? Do I want to address it now? Do I maybe need to address it later? I can't do it right now. I just don't have the headspace for it. There's different ways of doing that. And so I think if you can, in your moment of pause, try to identify, is this even mine or not? Am I being sucked into something that isn't mine? And that doesn't mean you don't care. Like, obviously, if my child is having a hard day in, with their schoolwork, that doesn't mean I don't care, and it doesn't mean I don't lack empathy. It means I'm not going to allow myself to be pulled into their chaos. That's a different kind of freedom and control over myself, that then I am showing them how to do that. And they can see me. Take a deep breath. I usually shut my eyes and just go, okay, I'm going to deal with this. And I know, as a parent, trying to go through this process of growth and enlightenment, and we're kind of creating a new world here where we're not basing it on the old ways of do it because I'm the adult and things like that. I want them to be kind and empathetic people, not just randomly getting pulled in and sucked into this and this and this. I want them to have their autonomy. I want them to have their freedom. I want them to be able to go with the flow of life. And sometimes life gives you a bump and a bump and a bump, and you got to go, are you going to let it go bump, 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 and it keeps climbing? Or are you going to deal with that bump, center, deal with the bump, center? And I think that's the biggest difference in this transformation, especially over the last few weeks, is really getting into this flow of dealing with these triggers like this. I had tried to do it previously, but I'd allow myself to get pulled out. And now I'm so determined to stay where I'm at that I won't let that happen now. And so I think that's growth. And I'm really proud of myself for that. So I'm really curious if you're on a similar path or journey and you're dealing with these triggers and things. How are you dealing with them? Are you finding this pause helpful? As a mom, I feel like I got to do these mini pauses throughout the day, but if it keeps me calm, centered, and able to flow with the daily ups and downs of living, it's worth it. It's worth all the work to make that change, and it's only making me a better person. So I'm really curious what everybody else is feeling and doing right now, and if you're able to in the moment, deal with some of these triggers, that's awesome. And then if you also find you need to go back to them, I think that's always okay too, because sometimes there's things that I want to go back and meditate to from this morning and really just kind of think about, and maybe even fine tune and center a little bit more even. But I'm okay to go to the next moment too. And it's kind of one of those, I want to come back to that. I want to journal about that. I want to make a drawing about that. I make a song or something. But right now in this moment, I still need to continue to parent and be and things like that. And I think that's probably one of the harder things about parenting, is that you don't always have those luxuries to just stop. And I don't really think anybody does. If you're at a job and your boss is, pulling you and trying to trigger you and things like that, you can't leave work to go home and meditate. You might even not be able to go back to your cubicle and meditate. So, you may, though, however, be able to go to the bathroom and take some breaths, focus on your breathing and feeling yourself in your body and centering yourself that way, so that you can kind of hold off till later. But I'm curious, I love hearing from other people, like what you're doing, what's working for you. So let me know if you're doing something beyond pausing and then having a bigger recentering moment later and things like that. I'd love to hear it. And if you're making great progress, I want to hear that. And if you're struggling, I want to hear that too, because we still need to sit beside each other even when we're struggling and say, it's okay, I'm here. I can't heal this for you, but I can sit here while you're healing it. And that's important. So I hope everybody has a great day. Talk to you soon.